you done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kusa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of every
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking straight, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So hello, One Box. Leon is in the house. G from the land. Mel, Perplex, Khalid. All right, talk to me. I talk back. Let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Nessie X is in the house. All hell no. The Crazy Beach Aries. Desmond. All right, let's get into it. Andrea. Okay, so that all being said, let's go ahead and get it started. Everyone, don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, because people are constantly being unsubscribed. Okay, because ScrewTube doesn't like the Queen's talking points. Y'all know they already have me shadow banned. Okay, so now it's getting even worse. But anyway, please pay attention. Do your due diligence and make sure you're still subscribed. Now, with that all being said, if you find out you have been unsubscribed, please send me an email. Okay, please send me an email to let me know. Okay, so with that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor before we get into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. And she also has a beard oil. Okay, so that all being said, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it, because both of these stories today are nefarious. The first one starts off with a man who was a barber, and he's been accused of raping at least about 60 people. Now, this story started about 11 months ago when this all came to light, and he was a fugitive. But just a few days ago, he's been charged. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to go to the news report.
A South Bay barber charged with sexually assaulting 2 men and possibly some 24 others. The man failed to show up for a court hearing after posting $250,000 bail. ABC 7 News South Bay reporter Dustin Dorsey has more information as investigators search for the suspect and more victims.
Sexual assault, intoxication, and kidnapping, with the suspect still on the run. 34-year-old Franklin Enrique Sarqueño Orla's Mountain View apartment sits empty after police say he fled after being arrested for sexual assault. And investigators fear there may be more victims.
We have reason to believe that there are at least 20, if not more. It does seem that these various victims were either unconscious or intoxicated, or a combination of both, based on the video evidence that's been obtained by law enforcement thus far.
Investigators say 2 victims described losing consciousness after sharing drinks with Sarqueño Orla earlier this year.
2 ways that we seem to see a pattern of are either nightlife, where it's at a club or a bar or some setting like that, where the victims and the defendant would meet up, and then something would happen after, or he would know them through the occupation he had as a barber.
Court documents reveal that one of the victims was unlawfully restrained while Sarqueño Orla sodomized him. The other, a client of Sarqueño Orla's home barber business, was allegedly kidnapped and carried away after being intoxicated by an anesthetic substance.
Through the investigation, there has been video evidence obtained that does depict various assaults. And that's still information that we're processing and gathering.
Sarqueño Orla was first arrested and posted a $250,000 bond in August for sexual assault before the second allegation surfaced. He missed his October court date, and investigators are confident he is no longer in the area. Evidence suggests assaults may date back to 2018, and the district attorney's office is asking for other victims to come forward.
We will very much take great priority in their anonymity and protecting their names as much as we can throughout this process. We would encourage them, if they do think they're a potential victim of the defendant, to seek testing for sexually transmitted diseases.
If you have any information, contact Mountain View Police or the Santa Clara County DA's office. In Mountain View, Dustin Dorsey, ABC.
Okay, how absolutely egregious and appalling. Okay, yes, he is absolutely sick. This is crazy. Now, more people did come forward because that report was from November of 2024. Then in January, let me go to this brief clip. This is what they found out.
New details tonight about a Mountain View barber on the run after being accused of sexual assaults. Court documents say 34-year-old Franklin Enrique Sarqueño Orla has HIV, and authorities are urging his victims to get tested. Orla is now accused in more than 24 drugged sex assaults dating back to 2018. Police say he took off after missing his last court date while out on bail. If convicted, he faces life in prison.
He absolutely deserves life. Do you all hear this? Now, they told them to go and get checked for any type of transmitted diseases. And then turns out this man is HIV positive. And this is what you were out here doing. He absolutely deserves a life sentence, even a death penalty, as far as I'm concerned. He has ruined these people's lives. And imagine them not knowing this for the length of time that they have not known it and going on with their everyday lives, having relations with women. Okay. Some of them may even be married or have, serious relationships. Just think about that. This is so disgusting and demented. Like, who does this? Now, that was 20 plus people, and now more people have absolutely come forward. Now they say it is actually more than 60 men. Okay, now this comes out just 2 days ago over the strong end. So let's go to this next report. This is awesome crazy.
An international effort has led to the arrest of a wanted Mountain View man. On Friday, the U.S. Embassy posted these photos of 35-year-old Franklin Enrique Sarceño Orla, who was arrested in Guatemala. Mountain View police suspect Orla of possibly assaulting more than 60 men dating back to 2018.
Really just a sense of doing some justice for the victims. They're really, without the victims having the courage to come forward in this case, he could have continued to do what he was doing.
We spoke with legal analyst Stephen Clark.
The big question is, how did this serial sexual predator go undetected for so long? How do we have so many victims in this case?
According to court documents, prosecutors are charging Orla with sexually assaulting at least 19 local men. A client of Orla's home barber business was allegedly kidnapped and carried away after being intoxicated by an anesthetic substance. Medical records show Orla is HIV positive.
The fact that he's HIV positive could add enhancements to the actual crimes he committed. If his victims then became HIV positive, that would be considered great bodily injury.
Orla was arrested in August of last year, but fled to Guatemala before his scheduled court appearance. Police say Orla was placed in U.S. custody Thursday. He will be arraigned Monday on 43 felony sexual assault charges.
I think the biggest impact that his arrest will be hopefully giving the victims at least some sense of peace, knowing that he's back, he's in custody, and they can be safe knowing that.
If convicted, Orla faces life in prison.
Okay, this is also sad. My condolences to the victims having to deal with this. And just let me say that he had the audacity to flee. Okay, they had him extradited right back. He thought he was going to get away with it. Okay, and so anyway, the man accused of assaulting more than 60 men in the South Bay area is expected in court on Monday to face charges. Now, 35-year-old Franklin Enrique Sorina Orla has been brought back to Santa Clara County after investigators say he fled to Guatemala. The Mountain View Police Department said multiple victims accuse him of rugging them. Okay, and then taking advantage. The crimes date back to 2018. Now, the victims say they would be out for drinks with the suspect and then mysteriously pass out and wake up injured at his home. Some had specific memories of being assaulted. Now, the reason some of them claim to have specific memories is because some of them said they were like in a daze. They weren't like completely passed out or like they were like immobile, but could kind of sense what was going on. Okay, now just imagine that, but yet you can't move and someone's doing things to you. And he was having them strapped down. One person said that their hands and feet were bound when they awakened. Okay, this is all crazy. So anyway, the victims say they would share drinks and all of that and then find out they had been assaulted when they woke up injured in his home. Now, police say they have evidence that Orla also took video recordings of his unconscious victims. Okay, that's going to definitely do him in because he provided the proof. So ABC 7 News spoke with Captain Scott Nelson with the Mountain View Police Department and saying really just a sense of doing justice. Okay, you all heard what he had to say. Now, they say the big question is, did this serial sexual predator go undetected, or why did he go, or how did he go undetected for so long? Likely because some people didn't come forward. Because a lot of heterosexual men, if this happens to them, they're going to be embarrassed, humiliated. They wouldn't dare want to come forward. And maybe that's why. Now, according to court documents, prosecutors are charging Orla with assaulting at least 19 local men. All right. And so this is just very egregious that someone would do this and then he fled. Like I said, thought he was going to get away with it. They had him brought right back. And that's absolutely good. Okay. Because you're just ruining people's lives. Not only are you traumatizing them, and now at least 40 of these people, from what I'm told, okay, by a source, have contracted HIV and tested positive. Okay, this is awful. This is absolutely disgusting. And here's another report. Fugitive South Bay serial assault suspect arrested, extradited, and charged. So a Mountain View barber labeled as one of the most prolific sex criminals in recent South Bay history has been arrested and charged with assaulting men, more than 19 local men, many of whom were unconscious during the assaults. Now, they say that People said they were rugged and assaulted, and this is more than 60 men over the past several years. Now, he was taken into custody in Guatemala and then extradited earlier this week after previously fleeing the United States ahead of his court date. They told him, "You can run, but you can't hide." Okay, that's what District Attorney Jeff Rosen said in a statement, saying this violent criminal thought that fleeing to Central America would protect him from facing justice for his violent attacks on so many people. We have never let time, resources, or international borders stop us from seeking justice. Now, Orla, 35 years old, will be arraigned on 43 sexual assault felonies and other associated charges on Monday, according to the district attorney's office, and faces life if convicted. The Mountain View Police Department launched its investigation in July of 2024 after a man reported that he woke up hurt and woozy after having drinks with Orla. Now, the man had been assaulted, according to forensic testing. Okay, and after another victim said that Orla was his barber, adding that he had lost consciousness while having beers with the suspect. And then they say Orla was arrested on suspicion of assault in August of 2024. He ultimately posted bail at $250,000 and continued to assault other men even after he was released. Like, he has a depraved mind. Do y'all hear this? He was still doing this after you got arrested the first time. Now, Mountain View police continue to investigate and determine that Orla may have assaulted dozens of men dating back to 2018 and potentially even more. The district attorney's office gave this information, said during many of the alleged attacks, the victims would share drinks with Orla, mysteriously pass out, wake up injured at his home. Now, and again, he is HIV positive, and they say, I wonder how they knew he was in Guatemala. I wonder how they found that out. If they got some tips or something, or they just investigated and found all this out. Either way, he's in custody in the U.S. and he's going to face those charges as he should, because this is absolutely nefarious. Like, who does that? Okay, sick freak. But anyway, listen to this, because I actually thought from first glance this was the same story, but this is a whole nother man. And by the way, this is Orla right here, the guy with the beard. Okay, that's him. You can tell he looks like an immigrant. But there was another story that I came across. Two men jailed for abusing a boy and a girl, and one of them is a barber. So like I said, at first glance, when I started reading, I thought this might be the same person, but no, this is another immigrant. His name is Mohammed Naveed, and also his friend Mohammed Afsan. They were both found guilty of several offenses. So a barber who R-worded a teenage boy and assaulted a young girl has been jailed. Mohammed Naveed, age 42, attacked the boy after locking him in a room at the back of his premises. Okay, he was also found guilty of assault after he took the girl into the same room and told her to get into her birthday suit before trying to rip off her clothing. Okay, now Naveed of West Park House, Dewsbury, was jailed for 9 years. That's what he got sentenced to after being found guilty of the R word, engaging in sexual communication with a child, paying for sexual services and sexual assault on a female, and engaging in sexual activity in the presence of a child. Now, the court heard the young boy had previously been given free cannabis by Naveed, but on this occasion, the defendant told the teenager that he's going to have to work for it. Okay, when the boy refused to cooperate with Naveed, he simply pinned him down to a sofa and started to R-word him. Now, the court heard the boy, who was also sexually abused by a 43-year-old Mohammed Afsan, okay, who was also jailed, by the way. And in a victim impact statement read by prosecutor Louise Reville, the boy described how he suffered sleepless nights and had nightmares. Afsan of Linfield Drive, Bradford, was jailed for 8 years after being convicted of engaging in penetrative sexual activity. Okay, this is all so crazy. And engaging in sexual activity in the presence of a minor and breaching an sexual risk order. Now, speaking after sentencing, PC Morgan Hurst of Bradford District's Child Safeguarding Unit says, "We welcome the sentence handed down for those abhorrent crimes. These two men, they abused and groomed their victims by giving them rewards through cash, rugs, and vapes." nasty freaks. And here's the thing, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, that little measly 8 and 9 years that they got for doing this to these poor kids, it's not even, that doesn't suffice as far as I'm concerned. They should have gotten much longer. I don't know why they go easy on these people. They should go a whole lot harder. But these PDF files usually don't get a lot of time. And that's crazy to me. Sometimes they even only get probation, like the murderer and pervert who killed Christopher Barrios at the age of 6. Okay, he had previously been charged with doing that to another child, got 10 years of probation, and then decided that he would kill the next one he did it to so he wouldn't have to go back to jail. Okay, also sick. C-Stand, grand rising to you, beloved, and thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let's talk about this community where they're supposed to be building an all, or they didn't say specifically all Black, but they said all melanated community. Now, with that all being said, the people who don't look like us are clearly hating, and they have put a halt on this. But do you all remember that a few months ago, I reported to you all about an all-white community? You all remember that? They were building an all-white community, and I find it so interesting. Okay, a white split town, honey, in Arkansas. I find it so interesting that nobody had anything to say about that. You mean to tell me nobody's upset or bothered? Okay, so let's revisit that before we get into this and see how they do the Black folk. Because here's the thing, there's two different Americas that we live in. Okay, one for us and one for them. Please pay attention because the rules are just not the same, folks. They're just not the same. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Okay, here we go. That's nothing wrong with this all-white town. Not a thing.
No Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills, in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people. No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills, in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
It's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out, even if...
you don't let everyone into your home.
Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labour, the women take care of the children who live here full time. It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, along with other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail. The Arkansas Attorney General has said his office is now reviewing the matter as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society. No blacks.
Now, with that all being said, yeah, the Attorney General did say that, but he didn't do ish. Okay, because this was reported in July. Okay, this was reported in July, or at least that's the first time I saw it. It could have been reported before then, but I saw it in July, and guess what? Nothing's happened. They still have their town. They're still living in it. And, in my opinion, they should absolutely be allowed to. Okay? I like my racism straightforward. You don't want to be around people who look like me? Let it be known. So we know to stay the hell from around you. Period. I have no problem with it at all. But just let us do the same. Don't hate on us when we have that same energy. Like, make that make sense. Okay? Now let's get into it, how they're trying to do the black person. Okay. And they even called it a scheme. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. They called it a scheme. Yes, they did. Texas Attorney General secures restraining order against Loving County scheme. That's exactly what they called it. Now, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has secured a temporary restraining order against Malcolm Tanner, and that's Dr. Malcolm Tanner. They didn't put his title, but I will. Dr. Malcolm Tanner, stopping a plan in Loving County where Tanner offered free homes to anyone willing to live to the or to move to the county and vote for his preferred candidates. Now, he said the show is over. A court has ordered that this is what Paxton said. The show is over. A court has ordered that this illegal and deceptive political scheme must stop immediately. Malcolm Tanner was trying to take advantage of people with false promises of free homes and unlawful payouts. Texas is for Texans, not out of state grifters, he said. Tanner from Crawfordsville, Indiana, owns two 5-acre plots in Loving County that had no utilities or improvements. He used social media to encourage people to move there, promising housing if they helped him achieve political goals. Those who moved onto the land have been living in RVs or makeshift shelters without proper sewage systems. After investigating, Paxton filed suit and obtained a temporary restraining order to stop Tanner from continuing his plan. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Now, here is a letter that Dr. Tanner wrote, and I'm going to share that on the screen. Yeah, Leon said they don't like when we come together. We know why. Exactly. They sure don't. Okay, that's what they don't like. Okay, so likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so now let's see what the good doctor had to say about all of the BS, because that's exactly what it is. I, Dr. Malcolm Tanner, want the people of Texas and this country to know that I respect the authority of the court and will fully comply with its orders. At the same time, I want the people of Loving County of Texas, of America, and of the world to understand what is at stake here. We're living in a moment that will be remembered. It is not simply about one man or one family or even about one piece of land. It is about whether the rights promised to us as Americans are real, or whether they can be trampled by intimidation, harassment, and fear. I came to Loving County with a simple vision: to build homes, to build community, and to live under the rights that faith grants and the Constitution protects. I believe, as every American has the right to believe, that land purchased lawfully could be used lawfully, that families could live in peace, and that children could grow in safety. Instead, what we built was destroyed. What we worked for was attacked. Now, and still, we did not quit. For when the walls were torn down, we rebuilt them. And I want you all to listen to this, because this is the destructive stuff they do. I mean, let's never forget Black Wall Street. These devils who don't like people who look like us, they never want us to have our own, but yet they want to have their own. They have plenty of white country clubs where Black people are not allowed to be members. Now, they're not going to tell you that you can't be a member because you're Black, but they will just deny your application, okay, at the end of the day. So anyway, he says, and we still did not quit. For when the walls were torn down, we rebuilt them. When the doors were broken, we set them back on their hinges. We held on because this struggle is bigger than woods and nails. It is about whether freedom in America is protected for all people, Black or white, Christian or Jewish, rich or poor, or whether freedom is reserved only for the few who hold power. We do not stand here in defiance of the law. We stand here in defense of the law, the highest law, the law of liberty. Our Constitution was written so that families could not be driven out by threats, that homes could not be torn down by force, that people could not be silenced when they sought justice. I want the world to know this land is more than dirt and stone. It is a test of America's promise. Will the government protect the rights of its citizens, or will it allow harassment to crush them? We will prove that the smallest populated county in Texas can still honor the largest principles of our republic. I am not alone in this. Beside me stand women and children who deserve safety. Beside me stand families who believe in freedom. And beyond us stand millions of Americans of every race, every faith, every background, who know that an attack on one person's rights is an attack on the rights of us all. Okay, please pay attention. And he's absolutely correct. And I just find it so interesting that, like I said, these white folk, they still have their buildings and all of that. And quite frankly, um, they're only just talking smack like they're going to do something to them, because I really don't think they're going to do a darn thing. Okay, because that's not the first time they've had a whites only community. There's whites only towns, and we call them sundown towns. Okay, please pay attention. They don't have a problem with those. How the hell do we still in 2025 have sundown towns? Okay, make that make sense. So anyway, goes on to say that we will not answer hatred. We will not meet destruction. We will meet it with perseverance, with courage, and with truth. And we will hold on until justice comes, for justice is the inheritance of every American. Okay, history will record this struggle. And when it does, let it be said that in Loving County in the year 2025, when families were harassed and homes were destroyed, and we did not bow, we did not run, and we did not give up, we stood. And by standing, we reminded the world that freedom in America is not granted by men, but strengthened by faith and secured by the Constitution. Okay, so that was very well said as far as I'm concerned. Y'all hear that? That was very well said. These people are so nefarious, honey. They are something else. I want y'all to pay attention. And then calling it a scheme. It's the audacity of it for me. And like I said, went and filed a temporary restraining order. Let me pull that up. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, here it is right here. Yeah, he meant business. All right. He meant business with his hatred and racism. On this day, the court, having considered plaintiffs, the state of Texas's state verified original petition and request for an emergency temporary restraining order, injunctive relief, and civil penalties, grants the state's request for an ex parte emergency temporary restraining order enjoining defendant Malcolm Terrell Tanner, defendant, and his officers, agents, employees, and all other persons in active concert or participation with him from discharging or allowing the discharge of any sewage or human excrete in a manner that could contaminate the soil, subsurface drinking water, or create the potential for disease transmission, and allowing any person to move on, reside, or otherwise establish habitation or domicile on the property located at 2985 Private Road, 3008 Mentone, Texas, 79754 parcels. Okay. Based on the verified petition and other evidence presented with the state's application, the court finds that defendant and his officers, agents, employees, and others acting in concert or participation with him have violated or are threatening to violate Texas Health and Safety Code Section 341 by discharging or allowing the discharge of sewage. First of all, they don't know that any of this is even going to be done. These people are just hating to be hating, honey. That's what that is, like I told you. Okay, so they actually did an interview with Isaiah Carey from the Isaiah Factor. Okay, so let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here we go. Oops. That's the wrong video. Hold on. Give me just a second. Okay, here we go.
You could.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored tonight. Well, there is a small community here in Texas that's causing a lot of controversy and, of course, getting a lot of attention. It's a result of a man named Malcolm Tanner who is moving to that community, already set up shop there, but he's inviting more of what he calls melanated people. And some see it as a threat. They see it as an all-black community. Let's take a look. And joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to discuss this topic, we have with us Dr. David Branham from the University of Houston Downtown and political analyst Dr. Dietrich von Bietenfeld. Now, we're talking about Attorney General Ken Paxton filing a lawsuit against Malcolm Tanner, who's originally from Indiana, saying he is deploying a political takeover in Lovington County, preparing to call it Tanner County. He's inviting all of these black people there. So what exactly is Ken Paxton concerned about when it comes to Malcolm Tanner?
Well, the purported reason for the lawsuit is sanitation and the lack of established facilities, the strain on the infrastructure. So again, where Ken Paxton has legal authority involving the health and welfare of Texas residents is much like, I liken this case to the old 300, where Stephen F. Austin brought, through the Authority of Impresarios, brought many people into the state of Texas for housing. And this self-professed doctor, Tanner, has said, I want to do the same thing. I'd like to move these individuals, pay them $5,000 a month. This county has a lot of wealth from the Permian Basin, only 64 residents, over 60 million in the coffers, so that's about $1 million per current resident available for this individual, if he's able to win the elections, to reallocate some of those resources. So I think that's another concern for the Attorney General moving into an election season. As we look at redistricting, as we look at maintaining a conservative majority, this individual bringing possible liberals, possible Democrats into an area, then taking over a very wealthy, oil-rich county, possibly imposing regulations beyond that of the Railroad Commission and restricting this excess of resources is very concerning on a visceral level.
And he's made it clear, he's also said melanated people, people of color, we want to bring them here so they can have the political power, and he hadn't been shy about saying that.
Absolutely, and like the 300 who came here with the promise of converting to Catholicism, they didn't do that. With the promise of not bringing slaves, they brought slaves. With the promise of adhering to Mexican standards and learning Spanish, they did not do that. We have an individual who's taking a lot of these principles that our republic was founded on and saying, no, I would like to see more of Tanner County looking like me, and then bringing an area where it's depopulated. The weight can be much more aggregate power than bringing 5,000 individuals to Houston. So that's going to dilute the vote, versus in this county, in Loving County, maybe like Loving versus Virginia, we're just going to break in and desegregate this and integrate, and there will be people of color with the majority of the vote.
And he says Loving County will now be called Tanner County, in his opinion, not officially. But, of course, it's almost like being king. Your thoughts about
Might as well
this?
be. It might as well be like being a king if he can pull this off. Because, I mean, I think the lawsuit has merit, because anytime that you have a development going into an area, you have to do this analysis that Dr. Von Beendwell is talking about. You have to make sure you're going to have schools for the kids, you're going to have food for the residents, and so forth. So you have to do that. So I think the basis of the lawsuit is probably there. But these are things that you can get around.
I'm sorry. No, the hell you don't. Why would you have to have schools and all of that? Because you have a community. You can live in that community, and if it's in the district of another school, they can go to those schools. What is he talking about? Okay, see, they're just trying to come up with a whole lot of BS so they can prevent this. That's what that is. But then I have a problem when people who look like him do it, okay, with his ugly self. But let's continue.
The one thing I don't think he can get around, though, is saying, okay, the people who live in these houses cannot be white, because that is a form of discrimination. I mean, if you put the shoe on the other foot and said the people who live in these houses cannot be black, then we would see right away that you can't do that.
That's a lie, because they do it all the time whenever they feel like it. Let me not curse. But here's the thing. The end of the day, he said melanated people. Everybody in the world has melanin. Okay, if we're being technical here. Okay, so quite frankly, and that's probably why he said a melanated community rather than all black. All right, so he wouldn't have this problem, but they're still trying to give him problems. At the end of the day, I feel like they should have just gone there and set up shop and should have said anything about what they were doing. That's what I would have done. And when they knew anything, it'd have been a whole bunch of Negroes set up shop. All right. Now you want to come and move here? Go ahead and apply. And if they didn't want that, if they didn't like the application, it'll be denied. That's how that should go. Okay. But let's continue.
Can't have that kind of discrimination. So he's going to have a problem with the racial component to this, where he's saying, in order for you to come in, now it's a wide amount of people he's talking about, people from Asia, people from Africa, just as long as you don't have white skin.
He never said that. They're lying. He never said that. Okay, please miss me with it. Where do you find out what the devils did to his business? Where do you find out? Because we're going to go to that in a minute. Vince I am from the UK said, Queen, did the cursing reporter find a serial killer? I remember how mad and bothered he was with social media and internet detectives who were giving Scooby-Doo energy. Okay, no, honey. And I think he's still mad, beloved. Okay, he's still in denial. Okay, for those of you who missed it, Vince is talking about a report that I did where Isaac Carey, this reporter that's right here now, was so mad and butthurt, been out of shape about the Houston bayous when people were saying that they felt like there was a serial killer because all these dead bodies kept popping up. He was cursing people out and everything, so adamant. People were like, dang, is he a serial killer? Because why is he so mad?
You can come in. So that's, that's what he's going to have a hard time getting around. And in today's Supreme Court, where we just saw a 14th Amendment ruling in school admissions, where it says you cannot discriminate regardless if it's white on black or black on white, then we have a Supreme Court who's going to look at this and say, no, this is discrimination. You can't deny housing because of somebody's race.
They have been doing that for decades. Okay, it's called redlining. What the hell is he talking about? And they're still doing it. Another thing they do, and an Asian woman did a whole video about it, but we already know it. Another thing they do is they redline the Asians when they come here so they can't build their businesses in white neighborhoods. Okay, so they have to come to our neighborhoods. It's okay for them to build their businesses in our neighborhoods, but meanwhile, we can't even build our own darn businesses in our neighborhoods because they don't want to give us business loans, even if you have an 800 credit score. Okay, please pay attention. That's what they don't want to do. But they want them to come set up shop in our neck of the woods, okay? Because they don't want them out there with the white folk. That's what the Asian lady said. So they don't want us out there bringing our business out there. Yeah, they don't. But it's okay for them to come set up shop over here and get black dollars, okay? It's like, it is so crazy to me that the most racist, hateful people on the planet can sit up here, people like him can sit up here and talk about discrimination or talking about somebody doing them dirty after all the dirt that's been done to us. Like, make it all make sense. Okay, I have several questions. C-STAN said they have land covenants that prevent minorities from buying real estate. Exactly. Exactly. They still do. And thank you, beloved, for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Jay Gray said, Queen, this is proof they don't want us to separate our money because it truly is the lifeblood of this country. Honey, that's exactly what it is, okay? I'm sorry, but segregation or getting rid of segregation was the worst thing ever for Black people. All the Black-owned businesses went down, and just lost all the revenue in our own community. Now our dollars go to everybody but us. Even with the Asian lady that did that video, she said that the Black dollar goes to like the property, not the property, but the money from Black people basically goes to the Asian community, goes through their community twice. Okay. It goes through their community twice because they said they not only get the money off the front end, they get it off the back end. And here's another thing. They have actually, some of these Asian beauty supply owners, or not the owners, but the people who supply the products to them, they've been doing shady stuff to Black business owners. Okay. That's what a Black person did a video about, saying, oh, y'all want a war? Yeah, because now they're talking about boycotting the Asians again. You never stop boycotting, okay? I've been boycotting them for 5 years. I don't go to them to get my nails done. I do my own darn nails, period. I don't go to their beauty supply stops. I drive an extra 25 minutes to get to a Black-owned, okay? Because what you're not going to do is come up in my community and be sitting here making all the money, but you don't contribute anything to the community. Then you want to look at people like they're crazy when they come in your establishment. And in some cases, if they don't like the service they're provided and don't want to pay, you want to lock the doors and beat the hell out of them and throw acetone and barbicide in their face. Yeah, I don't need to go there, and neither do any of you. Please pay attention.
And I think this is where he's going to have a problem.
Dr. Von Biedenfeld, how feasible is this idea that Malcolm Tanner has? Your thoughts?
I think we've already seen individuals accepting the offer. While we're not certain where the $5,000 would come from, again, it is possible that there's an idea or at least plan or scheme for the county coffers, which are flush with funds, to spend this money on residents in a way that you might legally see done. Again, as Dr. Brandon mentioned, you don't want to do this based on ethnicity or race, which would be prohibited characteristics, but if there is a way to bring people of a lower income and then create a subsidy, I think there are a lot of legal mechanisms where people can initially bring RVs or bring mobile homes. We've got quite a few of these prefabricated homes in the state of Texas sitting on the side of the road. Move them in, bring in water wells. We've got a number of communities that have mud districts, so you don't necessarily have to have this $3 million water facility from day one. And Texas, again, was founded with one-room schoolhouses, and we're doing great. We're the 8th largest economy in the world.
Well, I mean, this is not really new. The libertarians have been trying to pull this off for a long time. Their problem is that they're trying to find a state with it's on an ocean where they can find a port and they can take over and make a majority of the state.
We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored and more on that topic when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. There is a small community here in the state of Texas where a black man is offering land to those who move in. But there's a catch. You have to be melanated, a person of color. Let's get back to our discussion tonight. How is this different from the return to the land movement that we have recently seen in the news in the Ozarks in Arkansas, this all-white community, where no one is really taking any action as of yet? I mean, how is this different, what we're seeing here in Texas with Malcolm Tanner compared to that?
Well, you're going to have, in Arkansas, for instance, you're going to have people who are racial minorities come in and protest and say, look, I want access to this land just like you. And then you have the basis for a lawsuit. If you start segregating and say, okay, no one from this race can come in, then you're in trouble. You're not going to be able to get away with
money. Because at the end of the day, if you've got $60 million and you've got possible control, legal authority as a county government, commissioners, judges, appointed by these new residents, they've been there 6 months, a year, and then they vote themselves into power, that could restrict quite a bit of access to these resources and impede the state's ability to do what they want to do.
Are we making the country an atmosphere for this type of segregation, this type of seclusion? Because in the Dallas area, we've had that recently where they wanted I don't know how best to describe it, more Muslim or Arab community. And of course, that became an uproar. People started filing lawsuits to put a stop to that. Are we in the political atmosphere where this is now being encouraged, or we see it as a result of people feeling disenfranchised?
Well, I'm going to argue that we've had it all along. And, I mean, this is something you see it in the schools. Remember, Brown versus Board of Education, 1954 said, we have to desegregate our schools. It took us 25 years. We pretty much did it by, like I said, 1978 and 1979. The court stepped back, and what did? We resegregated.
I don't want to hear some sad story, okay, with the world's smallest violin. Okay, they did this stuff first at the end of the day. So now they're mad because people don't want to be around them. Who wants to be around people who don't like them? I know I don't. Okay, I know I don't. At the end of the day, I just wish this man had never said anything about it being an all-black community. Okay, I just wish he had never said it all melanated community or whatever, and just did what he was going to do. Okay, but you know what he should do? He should go find some black people that are clearly passing. Okay, some black people that are clearly passing and get them to move in. Okay, and then say, what are y'all talking about? There's white people here. And then when the other people come that they don't want, just deny their applications like they do us. Okay, there is a thought. But let me continue.
All of our schools. Look at HISD. Look at Spring ISD. Or Spring Branch ISD. These schools are segregated, and the reason why they're segregated is because people want that. People want to have their children go to school with people that look like them. So this is something we have to constantly battle in order to beat. So it's not, it may be in housing now and communities now where we're seeing it more, but we've been seeing it for a long time.
And you will rarely get anyone to acknowledge that they want that segregation. And when you question someone, they won't say, it's based on race. They'll say it may be based on familiarity, or this is who I feel comfortable around. But is that a reality, what Dr. Branham says, that more people just simply want to be around their own?
Absolutely, and there is a sense of unsafety. And of course, there's the political benefit for individuals saying, hey, Sharia law is going to take over the state if we allow these communities. It's a great political talking point, and it's a nice bullet point on a mail out, right? And so that's another aspect of these political authorities with franking privileges where they mail out these informational booklets and then inspire fear, and these communities will retreat because as racial minorities or religious minorities, Islamic people in the state of Texas, Jewish communities, they're going to retreat. And we've had them all along, as Dr. Brandon mentioned. In New York, you have these very Orthodox Jewish communities. You've got Dearborn, Michigan, with very large Muslim areas. In Houston, you've got Harlan, where you've got large Indian population concentrations, or Vietnamese areas off Bel Air. So we've had these concentrations where people are able to speak their language without someone walking in and saying, hey, we speak American here. And so this sense of
what's
safety
different with Malcolm Tanner in Texas? Is this like a push or a grab for political power that makes him different? Obviously, we're talking about health, sanitation, but also it's clear he wants political power. Is there a difference there in what we've already seen in Houston, like you said, in the Harwin area?
I think the biggest difference is what we saw with the Branch Davidians. This idea of individuals having authority and the federal government, particularly, or in this case, the state government, saying there are laws against what you're doing, but actually at a very atavistic level, we are saying.
Now I want you all to pay attention real close. Did you just hear what he said? Did you just hear what he said? He brought up the Branch Davidians. That's very important because now here's what they're trying to do. I want you all to pay close attention to this. This is what he's trying to say. He's basically trying to call these people who want to live in this community, and Dr. Tanner specifically, separatist. And separatists, in the eyes of the government, are viewed as domestic terrorists. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. The Branch Davidians, what did the FBI do to them? Okay, what did they do to them? Didn't those people get killed? Wasn't their compound set on fire? And I know they told you David Koresh did it. I know that's what they told you. They told you David Koresh did it. Okay, and killed all of those people, including his own children. Is that what happened? Is that what really happened? I think you should do your research on that because lies have been told. You see, because when I was in graduate school, one of my professors who worked for law enforcement showed us some very interesting footage of the FBI at the Branch Davidian compound for months, standing outside of the fence, talking and playing with those children through the fence. And then had no problem going in there and doing what they did. And they want everybody to think David Koresh did it. But the reason they didn't like David Koresh is because they viewed him as a separatist. Okay? They didn't want him to be in charge of all those people or whatever. Why is that their business? Okay, so now here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to portray these people as separatists. You know who else they portrayed as separatists and bombed them? Move. You all remember, for those of you who saw the video that I did on Move, I can't remember if I did it for members only or for everyone, but if you saw that video that I did maybe a week or two ago about Move with those Black people that got their home bombed just because they lived amongst themselves in Philadelphia in 1985, and 11 Black people, including children, there was a bomb dropped on them. This is the kind of stuff they do when Black people want to have their own community or want to be by themselves, and not have to worry about racism and hatred, okay, and all of those things. That's what they do, okay? But we're going to get into it because, like I told you, they've already damaged this man's business, literally destroyed it.
Saying, we don't like what you're doing and we don't like the power that you have over the state. So again, as long as there are 64 residents there and Ken Paxton can, with the Attorney General's office, the Railroad Commission, make all the rules, that's fine. But as soon as you get 5,000 melanated individuals in this area, does it switch the political party? Does it increase their representation in concentration in the House of Representatives, right? When you shift this concentration of people out of a diluted block in Dallas, Houston, or Austin and say, now we're in Loving County, what does that congressional district that we've redrawn look like? What does that oil revenue get shifted towards? Do we look at communities? What if they do a great job on using this funding for education, supplemental nutrition assistance, et cetera, and build a lively community? How does that look for Austin not to have done the same thing?
And of course, we want to remind the people that with the small population that they have there, that is a wealthy community with its resources.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a high-income community, but I mean, we look right down the street here. We have River Oaks. Isn't it something that we've done? Didn't River Oaks kind of do the same thing?
Yeah.
when you look at it, but it was just white people instead of black people. That's the difference. I mean, to me, this is the biggest difference here. I mean, the easiest thing.
I'm sorry, did y'all hear what he just said? Did y'all hear what he just said? He said they got River Road Community or whatever it's called down the street, and they did the same thing. It was just white people. Did y'all hear that? Okay. He said it's just white people. And also, he seems to be bothered more so because it's a thriving Black community, people with money. Okay, isn't that what they said? They said that it's wealthy. Okay, so if it was a bunch of people just in the projects, they'd have no issue. And I want you to pay attention to that, because who lives in the projects when we had them? Most of the projects have been torn down in the United States. But in the projects, who did they put in there? Wasn't it all Black folk relegated to a certain area? No white folk around, and they didn't have a damn problem with that. So why the hell y'all got a problem with this? I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's a thriving community. Okay, a Black man with money is building it, and that's why they're mad. Devils.
To do is say, okay, if you don't think they should have their own community, maybe they should move next door to you. Maybe that's the best thing for them to do. Yeah, maybe they'll come back and say, oh, maybe on second thought, right?
Okay, so it is what it is. These people are just haters and so mad and butthurt and never want Black people to have anything. But let's go to Dr. Tanner's Instagram page so I can show you what they did to this man's business.
As you see, I'm inside of my hotel that these people here in Marion, Indiana, caught on fire. They set my hotel on fire a while ago. $1.5 million I put into this building. They set it on fire. After they set it on fire, I guess they figured that it didn't burn down, right? So we boarded it up. They came back in here, and this is Marion County. This ain't regular people. This is not regular people. These are officials that work in the county. They came back and they cut all the wires. They came back, cut all my wires. Went in the walls, cut all the wires. All these wires they cut. All these wires. All these wires, they cut them up. They didn't steal nothing, they just cut them. Didn't steal a thing, they just cut the wires. They cut the pipes. They did all that. Just because I'm a melanated brother that's helping melanated people and people here in general.
That's a darn shame. Now, somebody said, Lady Space said, why didn't he have cameras? I think he may have had cameras, beloved. I think he may have had cameras. That's how he know who did it. He said it wasn't regular folks. It was the county that came in there and did it. So he likely saw them on camera. That's what I'm thinking. Because the county came and did it. And here's the problem with that. If the county came and did it, can he have them arrested for vandalism, for destruction of property? No. No. So it doesn't even matter that he had cameras. All that told him is who did it. Okay? That's what they did. It's no different than the time that elderly Black lady who had a myriad of health issues was growing her own herbs in her garden to heal herself. When the city found out, they said they were going to destroy her garden, that she couldn't have it. It was against the law. She went to court and she got like a 30-day continuance. But that same day that she got the 30-day continuance, they came to her house and destroyed her garden. They didn't even give her the 30 days that she was supposed to get. And was nothing she could do. That's how the devils play. Okay? They play dirty. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, I want you all to see this other video. Hold on his channel or his account.
So, this is what I say to the people. We're going to rebuild this. We're going to keep rebuilding it and keep rebuilding it and keep rebuilding it. They want to stop greatness. Yeah, they can't stop greatness.
Let me tell you all something. It says Dr. Malcolm Tanner faced off with police and local officials at his hotel after they potentially set his hotel on fire and vandalized it in Marion, Indiana, just 2 blocks away from the last public hanging. Okay, y'all see that? In America stands with Dr. Malcolm Tanner. Send this to everyone that you can. Make sure this information gets out. You can donate at, and there's his Cash App. His Cash App is $Mr. Tan DT. $Mr. MRTANDT. Okay, so if anybody wants to donate, but let's go to this last video.
All right, what can I help you?
Hold on.
And really what they're saying to you is,
Okay, that's the letter I already read you.
and really what they're saying to you is, you bringing black people into this city, y'all building homes, you inviting black people from all across the country to come into Loving County, Texas, and work with you in the community to build and to grow, to become entrepreneurs, to build an independent education for you and your own children, to build homes. And what they're really saying, part my French brothers and sisters, is, nigga, who do you think you are? That's exactly what they're saying. And really what they're saying to you is, you bringing black people into this city, y'all building homes, you inviting black people from all across the country to come into Loving County, Texas, and work with you in the community to build and to grow, to become entrepreneurs, to build an independent education for you and your own children, to build homes. And what they're really saying, part my French brothers and sisters, is, nigga, who do you think you are? That's
I'm sorry for letting it play twice, beloveds. I was multitasking. Okay, I was trying to pull this up. So let's go to what the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, had to say about all of this. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so Attorney General Ken Paxton secures restraining order against Malcolm Tanner's illegal scheme to take over Texas County. So they go on to say that the show is over. The court has ordered this illegal and deceptive political sham. They're not a sham and a scheme. Said it must come to an immediate end, said Attorney General Paxton. Malcolm Tanner is a two-bit charlatan attempting to defraud people out of their money with false promises of free homes and unlawful government payouts. Texas is for Texans, not out-of-state grifters trying to steal political power from the people who live there. Okay, I know I already read some of this in that article. Tanner, who is from Crawfordsville, Indiana, owns 2 5-acre tracts of land in Loving County, which have no utilities or improvements. Okay, that's because they're still building. Now, I want you all to pay attention to how they're just trying to come up with all kinds of nefarious ways. The people are still building. It's not even done yet. So what are they talking about? Through social media videos, he explains that he will take over Loving County. Okay, we already read all of this. They say after launching an investigation into the situation, Attorney General Paxton immediately sued and has now secured a temporary restraining order preventing Tanner from continuing his operation in Loving County. I mean, the hate is real. And I want you all to think about what he called this black man. He called him a two-bit charlatan. They called him a grifter, even though he's not grifting. Okay? It wasn't grifting when the white folk in Arkansas did it. That's what it wasn't. Okay, that's what it wasn't. They didn't call it that then, and I find it all very interesting. So, as I said, they want to destroy this place before it even gets off the ground. And, that's why you often hear people who look like me saying, dang, black people can't have nothing. Okay? But then some of these black immigrants who come here want to look at us like we're not doing anything, like we're lazy, because that's what they've been told. That's what many of them have been indoctrinated to think. They don't understand the obstacles, the constant sabotaging of Black-owned businesses. Okay, like the story I just told you about the Asian-owned, the Asian people who have really monopolized the beauty supply and hair industry. Okay. So they can secure the bag and prevent Black people from getting one. Okay. They don't think about these things. How when Black people try to set up their own things to build generational wealth and have land and resources of their own, they're constantly sabotaged. They don't know about the bombing of Move. They may not have heard about Black Wall Street. These people come here and they look down on us and talk trash about us, just like the wanton supremacists do. Look at Marlon Brown, okay, who came on here and how he called a Black woman a monkey, just like a racist person would do. And then talks about there's no white privilege. He's an idiot, okay? He is an idiot. I despise that man after just hearing the ignorant things that he said. I literally do, okay? And I hope that he's one of the people that eventually gets deported. All right, period. I said what I said. Now, with that all being said, honey, they just want to destroy Black wealth. They don't want Black people to have anything. What about all the land that was stolen from Black people? What about all the land that was stolen? 200 acres from my own family. Okay, did anybody do anything about that? No. And will they ever? No. Those white people still have our stolen wealth. And not just my family, plenty of families, even the Indians, the Native Americans as well. Okay, the Osage Indians. If you didn't see that movie, Killer of the Wild Moon or something like that, I think that was the name, or I think that was the name of it. It's on Netflix. You should watch it, where the white men were marrying the natives just to kill them and steal their land. Okay? Those are stories they don't want to talk about, the nefarious things they have done. All right? So please pay attention. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Okay, I'll be back later to talk about Trump because he's always into something. Everyone, please like and share. And also, please don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed. I told you how ScrewTube is doing. And here's another thing. Let me just say this too, because I almost forgot to bring it up. You know, they have whole Orthodox communities in places like New Jersey and New York. They don't say anything about that. Okay? They don't say anything about that. They don't say anything about these communities of nothing but Latino people. All right? Because here's the thing. Here's the problem. It's okay for you all to live amongst yourselves with just all Black folk when they relegate where the hell you're going to live. And they say, okay, y'all can go live over there in the projects. Y'all can go stay over here in this ghetto. When they can dictate that, yeah, it's no problem. Also, you heard the man say during the interview when he was talking about, when Isaiah was talking about the wealth that the people have or whatever, the wealth of the community. Well, think about how the white guy had said previously that they could bring RVs. They could bring RVs and stay there, okay, and trailers and whatnot. Isn't that what they said? But that's interesting too, because if I'm not mistaken, when I read the temporary restraining order, it spoke against that. So it looks to me like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. Okay, what do y'all think? Exactly, Queen Nina Star said Mormon communities. Exactly. Everybody can have their own except for us. Okay? Everybody can have their own except for us. And let me tell y'all something. And I'm tired of saying the same thing year after year, day after day, time after time. I'm going to tell y'all again. The only way that we will ever get a leg up in this country is to hit them where it hurts. And that's their pockets. Because the only thing people that hate us care about is blood and revenue. Take away your revenue from them and see how they like that. What you should do is not buy a darn thing for Christmas this year. How many times have I told you all that we control the spending power, but we're the ones with the less wealth? And reasons like this video are why. Okay? You shouldn't buy anything. Chinatown, exactly. Exactly, beloved. You shouldn't buy anything for Christmas. No shopping. Okay? Instead of Black Friday, let them have Red Friday. Nobody's making ish. All right? That's what you should do. And you would be successful because just like we were with Target's boycott, okay? It's time to take back the power of the Black earned dollar. That's what we need to do. And everybody needs to be unified and work in concert to do so. Because at the end of the day, it ain't nobody but us. It's just us. Okay? Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got